It's Lauren here in Tallahassee. I am doing a video on lesson preparation for y'all. I know everybody has their own way of doing things, but I'm just going to share what I do. So behind me you can see that I have some bins labeled for my Monday, Wednesday kids and my Tuesday, Thursday kids. I usually have them placed around the classroom so that when my volunteers come in, they can find their bin. It has a specific lesson plan with specific activities, all the materials that they need, and their name is on the lesson plan. So I'm going to show you that right now I have 33 volunteers, and on my laptop, as soon as I get a new volunteer, I make a folder for that volunteer. So I'm going to open one up. Let's find Caitlin. And you can see that I have labeled who she worked with, and it's mainly Kenny's group. I try to keep the volunteers with specific kids so that they build those relationships, and I put the dates. That is what goes into the bin. Once the bin is completed, so that means the lesson is done, I take the lesson plan and I put it into a binder because we know that organization is key. So this is from quarter one, so we're approaching quarter two. So you can see I have all my groups of kids. Some groups may only have one kid, like my kindergartner. He's working at his own level. He's very low. He's basically beginning preschool level. So he's by himself. But I do have a group based on SIPs that's 6 kids. And I usually get 2 volunteers. Once SIPs is over, they split the kids. So the volunteer only has 3 kids to work with. But that is one of my bigger SIPs groups. So once the lesson is done, you can see I've highlighted some things. I try to have the mentors make notes on behavior and the strengths and weaknesses, and I always highlight, please make notes for behavior, academic strengths, and weaknesses. And that way, when the lesson is done and I'm going through the baskets for the next session, I can tweak the lesson for the next time. So, for example, I had a group that flew through their first grade sight words. I used Fry's 100. So based on the mentor's notes, she said, okay, they've mastered these, we've gone through them, so then I bumped them up to the Fry's second 100 words. They've gone through those, they've mastered those. Again, it's based on mentor notes telling me that the kids have mastered them. And now they're working on the third sight words, or third 100 from Fry's list, and they've almost mastered those as well. So I use a lot of documentation from the mentors, and in order to start my plans, like I have to find somewhere to start. When a child starts, we're supposed to do iReady, and we're supposed to do SIPs. SIPs makes my base group, and then I look at iReady to find commonalities between those students, again, whether it's a group of 6 or a group of 2 or even 1. And I find 2 or 3 skills or concepts in reading that I want to focus on with those kids. Again, I rely a lot on mentor help because I can't work with every child every day. And then, so when they make their notes, that helps me a lot. So I want to go over a specific group with you. This is a group of 4, and they're all working on extension SIPs. The mentors have consistently, and they've had a couple different mentors, the mentors have consistently made notes that these children really have a hard time differentiating between short vowel sounds and long vowel sounds, especially the long vowel spellings, because we know that there are tons of long vowel spellings. So for the last about 6 weeks, these children, and they come twice a week, they've been working on something specific for those vowels, whether it's deciding between the short vowel sound and the long vowel sound and comparing them, or just focusing on one specific spelling for the long vowel sound. They also struggle based on iReady with comprehension. Pretty much that's a common theme between all my students here in YMCA READS is comprehension, and based on our webinar last week, we know that that's a really important component. So this group gets heavy comprehension plus their SIPs lesson every day, plus their main focus right now is more phonics, but specifically vowels. So they completed, I have the books, I shared them online, I can show you again in a minute, but this is the 3rd grade level. These are all 3rd grade students. Technically, they're more at a second grade independent level, but again, they're working with a mentor and they need to be doing the standards for third grade and being exposed to those. So this is with support. And my students, I really push hard for the mentors to expect and explain complete sentences. I've had many teachers tell me that their students don't know how to write sentences, which I've witnessed as well. And you can